Welcome to Campaholics.
I'm Kristi.
I'm Mandy.
And I'd rather be camping.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
We might be turning this into a sing-along. All right, unstoppable. When things go wrong or maybe not as planned.
Yes. So, Mandy, we have 3 topics today, really. First topic is traveling tragedies. So, I think before we start talking about everything that's gone wrong so far with camping trips, maybe we talk about how to prevent things now that we've learned what not to do.
Exactly.
So, first off, I think we need to talk about what we all just replaced on our vehicles that was really, really expensive, which was new tires.
Tires. And when you have an RV or a travel trailer, let's just double, triple that cost, okay?
Yeah, that was painful for me, and I didn't even have to pay for that.
But if you think about it, it is worth it, because how much money would you be spending on a hotel room or a plane ticket? I mean, this is going to get a good 2 to 4 years out of your traveling, so.
Totally worth the investment, if you ask me.
Burn that rubber.
So on the same lines of, vehicles, I think checking fluids is, a given. You need to check your oil, your blinker fluid. Just kidding, gotcha.
Good one. Yeah, for sure. Definitely do those tune-ups, because this is, an all-around prevention for even just going to the grocery store. I mean, we got to get this stuff in place, especially when, you're not the only one traveling. You want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, you got Ranger with you. Oh, and Brian. That's true. Another one I was thinking was an emergency roadside kit. I started to list out all the things, and I was like, you know what? They sell these things as kits. It's way easier. I think I got mine on either Amazon or Walmart for $32.
Yeah.
And it had that air compressor in there that I didn't even know about.
I know, right? You're just one day, man, I wish I had an air compressor. I could just pump my tire up and go down to Big O. Boom, open up the trunk. What do you have? A freaking air compressor.
I know, sometimes I impress myself.
I'm pretty impressed that you can even use an air compressor. I hate the noise of them, so I don't even go near them.
Well, that was definitely easier than what we just did by setting up 2 microphones in a little black box.
Yeah, if you guys want to know, that took about an hour and 40 minutes. Just kidding.
It was an hour, though.
First time for everything.
It's okay. We'll get better. Just like we did at camping.
Yes. Truth to that.
Correlation. And then the other one, which is kind of planning but also preventative, is, are you weather ready? Did you check the weather? In your travels, what are you looking at? Is it going to snow?
Yeah.
Is it gonna rain?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of don't like it when people are like, oh, all we have to talk about the weather. I, for one, love talking about the weather. I'm looking forward to the raindrops and the clouds and everything.
But at heart, we're 82.
No, that's true. True. I mean, I don't even look at the Weather Channel. I just look outside and, go off of that.
Yeah. You can get at it. Well, and I feel like my joints will hurt too. It's my right knee will hurt if it's going to rain. I can call it.
Yeah, my sister gets major migraines, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably going to rain, so. Yeah.
And we're probably right more often than the weatherman is.
For sure, especially in Arizona. Sometimes you're says it's not going to rain, you wake up, it's raining.
So that's a great point, though. You kind of have to be prepared for anything, even if you check the weather report and it's blue skies and sunshine.
For sure.
But they've lied to us before, and they will lie again.
Yeah, so basically, the weather's unpredictable, so be prepared for all kinds of weather.
I agree. So now we've kind of talked about some of the things you can do to prevent tragedies while you're traveling. We know better, and we've had a few experiences where things didn't go so great. So I believe you may have a story for us about a radiator?
I sure do. And on my picture that I saved from this traveling camping trip in 2015, I even labeled it crazy camp trip of 2015, because that's exactly what it was. Shall we just go right into that, I suppose?
Yeah, just dive right in.
So I kind of just titled this story, How Did We Make It? Because it's all about surviving this destination from point A to point B. And just so you guys know, Chrissy's taking pictures of us during this, so if I space out a little bit, that's why. Anyways, let me give you a little background. The kids were about 8 and 10. Our dog Ranger, she was 2. So Brian and I had this Ford F-150 at the time. It was a 4-door. I think it was a 2001 truck, and it's been a good truck. But that year, we decided let's upgrade from. We'll get into that later, but we went from tents to pop-ups to trailers. So we were kind of in between the pop-up and trailer stage.
Okay.
And yeah, we got this little trailer, 18-foot trailer. It was a Kit Companion. Really cute name. Anyhow, so we're pulling our Kit Companion with our truck. Kids are in the back, dog's in the back. Brian and I got the music going. What happens when we're going through Sunflower, Arizona? The radiator breaks.
Oh my gosh.
If you guys know where Sunflower, Arizona is, it's kind of like in the middle of Phoenix and Payson.
Yeah.
So there's not much around.
There's not.
So
I think there's a swimming hole out there.
True. So we make it to the top of the hill, and radiator breaks, and we're on the side of the road, engine steaming. We're just like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So we call a tow truck. Well, that took like a good 2 hours for a tow truck to come. Finally, the tow truck comes, and we got to get this thing on the tow truck. And the guy's like, I got this. Let's put it up there. And then he hooks up the trailer on the back. So the truck's on top of the tow truck.
Gosh.
The trailer's going to be towed. And then I look at the tow truck driver, and I'm like, there's only 3 seats in the front of your tow truck car. There's 4 of us and a dog. Where are we gonna sit? So I mean, this is kind of a big issue, especially your kids are little. You're like, what?
Scary.
No seatbelts. What the heck? So he's like, it's actually legal to ride in your vehicle on top of a tow truck. And we were like, what? Well, we didn't have a choice, and we didn't really want to be separated. Yeah. So the family stayed in the truck on top of the tow truck while the guy was driving us. Now, keep in mind, our truck is not running, and it's summer, and it's hot. We're in Arizona. We've got the windows partly down because the noise is so loud, so we didn't want to roll them all the way down because it is just like horrific. Yeah. And let me back up a little. We're like, do we have our truck and trailer towed back to the valley, or do we just keep going towards Payson?
True, because most people would probably be like, I'm going home.
Yeah, but you know what? The Ford dealership that was closest was actually in Star Valley, which is right out of Payson. Mm-hmm. So we're like, let's just get this thing where it needs to be. So we start our way, and we are going down the highway, and all of a sudden this oversized semi flies past us. And so loud, everything's vibrating, and the window shatters and busts all over the kids in the back.
Gosh.
Glass is flying. Kids are screaming. The dog's trying to get out. And we have no way to communicate to the tow truck driver. Yeah. There was no walkie-talkie given to us. We were just kind of left.
Amateur.
Right. So we've got at least another hour left, and we've got
my gosh.
glass shattered on us. I'm pulling the kids up to the front. The dog's getting on the side, and we just kind of have to bear with it. I mean, it was not fun.
It does not sound like fun, but you made it.
We made it to the dealership. We're like, hey, what the heck? You know, we're already here. We're getting close to the trees. Let's just go camping.
Heck yeah.
So we wait like the total 4 hours for this thing to get fixed. And, you know, by then the kids are grumpy, hungry. The dog's like, what do I do? Yeah. Whatever. So yeah, we're like, do you have some duct tape in a plastic bag so we can somehow seal up our window? Sure enough, they did.
That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, that kind of reminds me of a story I had. We weren't going camping, but my mom and I were on a road trip from Washington to Phoenix. I guess we were going to Phoenix to Washington. It was the other way around. We were going to pick up my brother's car. And we stop at this gas station and she's gone. Like I wake up in the middle of the night and she's parked at a gas station gas pump and I'm like, the heck, where are we? And she went without me. Like I have to go to the bathroom. I want snacks, right? Well, not thinking about it that she may have left the keys in the ignition.
Oh my goodness.
I just lock my door and like close the door and go to run inside and I realize that the keys were in the ignition and her door was locked and my door was locked. So now we're locked out of this little, it was like a Toyota Tacoma and it was like small. I don't know. It was old. It was like my dad's truck and he was so mad. So what happened, right, is my mom's like, oh crap. Like we are now stuck at this gas station. So we're in California in the middle of the night. And so they decide, let's break a window. And we thought like the smallest window would be the cheapest window because it seemed logical.
I mean, of course, right?
But it turns out that little sliding window in the back was the most expensive because of its sliding action.
That is so funny.
So we had to use duct tape and cardboard to like seal up that little back window.
How is that we both had broken window stories?
Yeah, but mine wasn't to go camping, so I didn't have a happy ending like yours did.
Hey, we all have to go through those broken windows in our life. I'm speaking metaphorically, people.
That's great. And I think I had a story, but now I guess I didn't write it down on that page. I transferred my notes, which I thought I was doing a great job of, but apparently didn't.
But I mean, the moral of the story is when you're traveling, you can come into some unexpected, not planned incidents, and you just kind of have to go with the flow to make the best of it.
I agree. So I do remember what my story was. Okay. It was when I went camping with you for Memorial Day weekend. And all of the stuff because I had my mom with me and the dog and my son who was he 9? Mm-hmm. Reese was 9. So he had to come with all of this stuff. My mom had to come with all of this stuff. We had tons of stuff, like way too much. So my mom's like, oh, don't worry. I have a little carrier that I use for my scooter. We'll hitch it to the back of your Jeep. We'll load it up with like the cots and the tent and like all that kind of stuff. That's going to be okay to be outside, right?
It sounds like a good idea.
We really thought we were being smart and like we thought it through and we really tied it down so it was nice and tight. We even wrapped it in a tarp so like nothing would fall out.
Right. Being preventive.
Yes.
If you can. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my mom also owns a Jeep and uses this cargo thing for her little rascal scooter, right? So we didn't think from one Jeep to another Jeep that it would be a big difference.
Sure.
But when we get on the road and we're taking a little cautious, we're like, oh, we're going to be fine. Let's just go. Let's just drive through because it was 2 hours away, I think, or an hour and a half away from my mom's house to that campsite. So we just go straight through. And when we get there, I'm like, yeah, the trees. And like, I see you and I get really excited and we're about to go camping.
You saw Dusty?
I saw Dusty. Yes. Right. Marking the campsite.
Yeah, we'll talk about Dusty later.
He's super important. Mm-hmm. And I come around the backside of the Jeep and everything's just like melted and stuck together and it's like smoking and it smells terrible and it was just I kind of like had that thought in my mind where I was like I should just go home.
It sounds like you were just getting a little premature on the fires for camping. I mean, you're supposed to have a fire when you get to camping, not bring it with you.
Oh, I'm just that prepared.
I know.
Camping level expert.
Yeah, I can remember that trip, and we were just trying to like pull apart this melted plastic, and it was a sad day for your cot.
It was a sad day for my cot, but you know. I was fully prepared to just like sleep in the Jeep or on the ground, or I didn't care. Like I was camping, right, and I was just happy to be out in the trees for like I think we were out there for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah.
But you guys, you know, the fun part about camping as a large group is you guys really, everyone pulled through. They're like, we have pillows and cushions, and like your cot's salvageable, the mattress isn't, but like we can use that or whatever. So. I honestly slept really great. I had no problems. It's fine sleeping on a melted cot for 3 nights, but Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was,
Yeah.
and it wasn't cheap. And I loved it so much that I just immediately bought another one because I needed that cot with a
Yeah.
mattress. I'll have to post this on the Instagrams because
Right.
the queen size cot with a night table and a cup holder, especially when we're talking about people with glasses, like
Yeah.
you need a place to set your glasses
It
in
is-
a tent.
It's the ultimate cot. I've seen it. It's pretty cool, guys. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that's a true camper right there. I mean, how many people would be like, I'm just done. I'm giving up. I want to go home. But because you stayed, you had a great night's sleep, you had such a fun time, and we kept camping together. I mean, it's you never know the benefits if you just stick it out.
Yeah, it was so worth it. That's when you guys taught me frisbee golf through the trees. That was a lot of fun.
Frisbee golf, you got to do it.
Liverpool rummy.
Yep. Yep, all those fun things for sure.
Okay, so now that we've made it to camp, right? Now that like we finally arrived with and without all those problems.
Right.
That brings us to topic 2, which is titled Tummy Troubles.
Tummy troubles.
So again, let's talk about how you can prevent some tummy troubles. Like,
Yeah.
what should you
Can you say that again? I like how you say tummy troubles.
prevent tummy troubles? It's like tummy troubles. Like calming because it's like a mom, like
Right.
mom's talking about taking care of your tummy.
Right.
But,
Late nights with tummy trouble.
Join us later for a late night
Yeah.
with tummy troubles.
I mean, okay, there's different types of tummy troubles too. There's ones that are brought on like self-inflicted tummy troubles,
Yes.
drinking too much, things like that,
Yes.
eating too much candy.
Yes.
And then there's other ones where you just get sick when you're camping, which is horrible, but seriously, people, like a bad day camping is better than a good day at work.
That's also true.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about kind of a mixture of both. I mean, so my son was probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 at the time, and he's just like, hot dogs, camping, and probably sees his cousins, and I'm saying cousins even though they're my cousins' kids, which are really like your third, fourth cousins, neighbors, friends, whatever, you know,
Right.
that whole situation. Anyway, so he sees his cousins, slightly older, eating multiple hot dogs because they can really handle it.
Right.
And here's my kid, and he's like, I'll eat 2, I'll eat 3, I'll eat 4. And
Right, like
it's like,
challenge accepted.
exactly. Well, that challenge came up about midnight that night. So, and there's nothing like at that time we were in a tent. And, you know, when you're a mom with kids, it's like, you can't really just clean up puke inside of a tent
Yeah.
super easily anywhere, really.
Oh,
but
yeah.
camping, you're limited on water and supplies and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
So you're like, get your head out of the tent and puke out there. I love you, but if you puke on your sleeping bag.
I mean, right.
So yeah, that was a fun night for sure.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So from that time on, we were like, Jay, are you sure you want that third hot dog? You sure you want that second bag of marshmallows? Let's think about this.
It's a lot to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like when I even just traveling, so we talk about like a road trip, but camping too, if I'm away from my house, I have trouble going to the bathroom in general, mainly because I think it's all the just trashy food I'm eating. Like
Yeah.
that, whether it's fast food on the road or when I get to camp, it's like
Yeah.
popcorn and Lunchables and fruit snacks and granola bar, you know what I mean, and beef jerky and like whatever I find basically,
Right.
and way too many marshmallows.
Yeah. Yeah. So your stomach's not used to like camp food and everything. You got to be prepared for whatever's going to happen. And I know for me, like being a diabetic, my blood sugar is affected by the elevation. And so I've kind of had to learn like what to drink and not drink, like Gatorade or Sprite, just because you never know what's going to happen. So always being prepared, even for those tummy troubles,
Yeah.
is important for sure. And that's something you throw into your medical kit is, you know, the Pepto-Bismol, the Tums, you know, Bubblies.
Absolutely. Maybe like diapers. Like just strap it on me. Let's go.
I love it. A doctor,
A doctor.
hospital bed, an IV. Okay.
But they need to come to me because I'm camping.
Yeah.
I need a mobile unit out here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned drinking too much. I've personally done that once or twice. Camping. One really strikes a chord when you talk about trying to rush your head outside the tent. That happened to me once when I was much younger, like not of drinking age. That was rough. And then most recently it was last July, and I was on a 10-day road trip, camping trip with Reese for 4th of July, which we're doing again this July. And
Woohoo.
obviously you're coming with
Yeah.
us. So excited.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
We have like 118 days till now.
Oh my, yeah. Kristi has a legit camp countdown on
Yes.
her phone. We work together and she's like, hey, 118 days till we go on our trip.
Yeah, I take this seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely something to
Look forward to.
make a monument out of.
Yeah. So last July, it's only night 2. And now I'm feeling kind of confident because now we're on the coast in California and it's just beautiful and the trees are huge and it's green and the weather was amazing and like our camp host was great and the water situation wasn't ideal, but we didn't plan on showering until we got to Quinn Harbors in Washington anyways, so it was okay. But I just got a little ahead of myself. I think I was having a really good time. I was having so much fun and I was like so proud that like we're in day 2 of my trip and like all my planning and itinerary calculating and trips and all that stuff had like it was coming together and it was like working so well.
Yeah.
So I got ahead of myself and drank a couple too many White Claws, and the next morning it was really cold and it was like super foggy out and everyone was still asleep and I'm like, uh-oh.
Was it foggy because the weather or foggy because the
No,
White Claws?
Well, I mean,
A little bit of both.
I'm no meteorologist, but I don't think it was the alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the part about being on the coast that I thought was really cool. It was really foggy every single morning, like out of a horror movie, which I love because I love scary movies. But anyways, okay, so I wake up in the morning and I don't feel good and it's freezing and I get out of the tent and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to walk up to the bathroom and like everyone in camp is asleep and the bathroom is in the middle of camp.
Okay.
Which I don't like that place
No.
because, and then it echoes. It's a brick building
Heck.
in a clearing of trees. Like, it's going to echo, and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I can see where this is going.
So embarrassing. So I go up to the bathrooms, and I'm like, okay, it's whatever. Like, I'll never see these people again. I just got to like get feeling better because we have another 8-hour drive ahead of us to get to the next destination that afternoon. So I go in there and like I was unsuccessful and I was like, okay, I'll just splash some water on my face. Like maybe it's not as bad as I think. Like mind over matter, right? I can do this. So then I'm like, oh, maybe I just need like I just need fresh air. Let me just like go for a walk. So I'm going for a walk around the campsite and then I feel like I'm gonna throw up again. I feel nauseous. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm better off throwing up out in the forest than I am, like, in a public restroom. So then I just, like, wander off into the woods at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Great. Lady goes missing at a campground. We hear puking sounds off the trail.
I don't think it's a bear or something.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyways, luckily, I didn't throw up. And I got back to camp, and I ate some crackers, and I drank a Sprite, and I actually felt much better. And then I had a breakfast burrito.
Okay.
And I was ready to go.
Wow.
It was good.
I'm surprised. There was a happy ending to
There was
this
a happy
story.
ending. It was a little dicey there for a minute. Like, I was scared. I was like, what do I do here?
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you didn't, like, just wander off and never come
I
back.
have a really good sense of direction, I feel
That's
like.
I mean, that's a supply you might want to bring is, like, a chain and a...
Like a red
Sure you're
string.
back.
Like, tie a string
Pull
to
her back
you.
in. Wilma's going a little too far, guys. Bring her back.
It's always good to keep an eye on those people.
Yeah, for sure. And that actually kind of goes into one of my other stories. Once we get to the campground and things going wrong, about a kid getting lost, actually.
Oh, which is a great segue into topic number 3, which is the trifecta.
Woo-hoo. Oh, yeah, trifecta, folks. So we call this the trifecta story because 3 major incidents happened at this one camping trip. It was 2013, holiday weekend. I believe it was Labor Day. Went camping up on the rim, the Mogollon Rim. Look it up. It's really, really pretty.
It is great.
So it's near an old campground that we used to camp at when I was little called Canyon Point. That kind of comes into the story later. But anyway, holiday weekend, big group of people. Some people we knew, some people we didn't because, your friends invite their friends and
Sure.
so on. So, like, this was one of our biggest groups we had had. And normally we don't like it to get too big because then it's like, oh, who do I go play a game with? Who do I do this with? Oh, the campfire can't get close enough. Anyway, this trip we were like, whatever, invite whoever. We probably had close to 30 people at this trip.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so big group. It's probably like day 2, I want to say. And one of the families that came had a couple small kids. Well, this one particular kid was 4 or 5, and he had wandered off. So at the time he wandered off, myself and our kids actually went up to Canyon Point Campground to check it out. Just a little day drive, get out of camp for a minute. And we come back and they're like, we can't find so-and-so. And we were just like, what? And so this little 4 or 5-year-old was lost. And we were camping. It was kind of dispersed, but we were in a loop where there's like designated camp like spots already made with camp rings and stuff. And there actually was a host, but it wasn't a paid campground or anything like that. So, of course, they contact the host. Everybody's like searching for this kid. Thankfully, somebody saw him on the dirt road, brought him to the host campsite, and then the parents, of the lost kid went to the host and they found him. It was just like
That's insane.
a miracle because like anybody could have just snatched this kid.
I would have I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. And we came back and we were like, wait, what? We lost a kid? So we're all like driving around looking. And then, I kid you not, not even 30 minutes after they found him, we hear sirens and the rangers and the Forest Service people coming by with a loud intercom saying, there's a forest fire 2 miles from here. Everybody needs to evacuate. And at first we're like, well, it's a dang good thing we found this kid. Could you imagine if we all had to leave and there's like a kid out in the forest with a fire?
Little Timmy is screwed.
Little Timmy is done. And so, poor Timmy.
Poor Timmy.
Seriously, they were like, you guys need to evacuate. So everybody, 30 people, trying to pack up, and everybody gets their gear shoved in their cars, shoved in their trailers. At the time, we had a pop-up, and we just shoved everything in. If you have ever had a pop-up, you kind of have to play Tetris with this thing because, yeah, you have this space and room, but then it all collapses into one tiny little box.
Right.
So at this point, we were just shoving things in other people's cars, and we're like, we got to get out of here. The fire's coming. Well, we all get packed up, and then the rangers come around again and say, we've controlled the fire. You can stay. And we were like, what?
Like, are you sure? Also, is there enough flame left over for marshmallows?
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, you can imagine these people have like done all this effort packing up their camp gear. So a lot of people left. Actually, almost everybody left except for us and our cousins.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually kind of nice to have less people. But anyhow, so it was the last night there, and it was quiet, so the forest animals are probably starting to creep back in because people are gone. They smell the food that's left over. Well, my cousins decided to have ribs that last night, and they forgot to put the trash up and put the ribs and the bones in the trash can. It was probably like 1 a.m., and I hear this scuffling around, and I look outside, and I wake up Brian, and I'm like, you gotta get your flashlight. There's something out there. So he's like scanning the forest outside our little trailer door. And we're like from one side to the other. And all of a sudden, right when we get past my cousin's little trailer, I see 2 green beady eyes glowing at me. And it just scurries up the tree. And it was a bear. It was a bear. That was the first time I've seen a bear like in our sight. I knew they were around, but you don't encounter them very often.
I've never seen one.
Yeah. So, of course, naturally, we want to warn our cousins. And so, ironically, my cousin's name's Brian also. And so Brian's calling Brian, and he's like, Brian, you got to get up. Wake up. Finally, we wake him up. He pops his head out the door, and he's like, "What's going on?" And we're like, "There's a bear right outside your trailer." And he's like, "Let me get my camera." I'm like, "Did you hear us? There's a freaking bear
There's
outside."
a bear, man. Like, I don't.
How about your gun, not your camera?
I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, did he get the picture though?
He didn't, but I did. I have the picture. The green eyes looking back at me.
I have to see that.
Yeah,
I'll have
I'll
to
show
post
you.
that on Instagram.
For sure.
The bear that ate the ribs.
It was so funny. And that thing stayed in the tree. We waited around for a while just seeing if it'd come down.
Wow.
We all went to sleep next morning, and this does answer a lot of your guys' question. Does a bear poop in the woods? It sure does. Because there was a pile of poop right under the tree where the bear was.
Oh my gosh. So, like, he had to go to the bathroom so bad that he didn't even leave the tree. He was just like, this is where it's happening.
We must have scared him that bad. I mean, we thought he was scaring us.
Right.
We scared him.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But you guys, did you, like, pack up and leave immediately after that?
No,
You're
no.
like, we're fine.
Yeah, we slept through. We stayed another night or two, and it was fun. It was great.
I love that. So, you know, even though things can go wrong on the drive, whether it's your tires, your radiator, windows, getting sick, or eating a bunch of random foods that make you sick, or bears, missing children, and fire evacuations.
Right.
Nothing will stop us from camping.
That's right.
We're unstoppable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things, like, so when anything can go wrong, you just need to be prepared for everything, but without overpacking.
Yeah. It's definitely a fine art and a fine line of what you need to do.
Yeah,
so.
because I feel like when I first went camping, even still, I think I'll bring a lot of stuff that I don't use, but I'm like, oh, sometimes
Yeah.
there's a moment where I'm like, I'm so glad I brought that.
Exactly.
So glad. So,
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about camping with other people, too, because more than likely somebody else has that one thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
that could be a prevention tip. Camp with somebody.
Yeah, that is a good one. Like, you always have the scissors, too.
Right. Those scissors.
Just make sure you get them back.
Do we have to get into that right now?
We could call this a couple of different things. I really think it's kind of funny to call it Bigfoot logs because you could take that as a few different things.
Yeah.
And we're really just going to cover a bunch of random facts about Bigfoot that I find entertaining and feel like I have to share with people.
My ears are attentive right now.
All right, so here's your sassy report.
Sassy report, coming in.
All right. And this one's actually probably less of a report and more of a question. Okay. What state do you think has had the most reports of Bigfoot sightings in the United States? There was 15 on the list.
Okay. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Missouri.
You know, it's really interesting because I've been doing a lot of research about this over the past couple of weeks, and everyone's like, oh, like, he's in Georgia for sure, or, oh, no, like, over here.
It's probably totally opposite.
Well, I was actually really proud of this answer because
here it comes.
I am from Washington State, and I am pretty sure that if Sasquatch were to live anywhere in the continental U.S., it's Washington State. 708 sightings have been reported in the state of Washington. Wow. The closest place in second was California at 461, which I was kind of shocked at California, but then I thought the Redwood Forest is there, Yosemite National Park is there. There's a lot of territory there. So California makes sense. And third, this one really got me, Florida.
What?
At 338 reports.
Are we talking about like swampy Sasquatch or something?
I guess so. Like, maybe I haven't spent enough time in Florida, but where is he hiding? And it's also really hot and humid there. Like, I just don't think that he's in that climate. I think he's in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. For sure. But so I found this out because I found this really neat organization who has this website, and for short, they go by BFRO,
Befro.
So you can find them at bfro.net. And it stands for the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. And they have so many
This is
things.
legit.
Yes.
Legit website.
And you can even go in and anonymously report a sighting of Sasquatch if you don't want to be named.
Wow.
And this was just this like first page that I went through. Like there's so much. I'm so excited to do more research on this Befro website because it's like big.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think they might take it way more seriously than I do. Like I think this is just like a fun hobby to joke around about.
Right.
But I think Befro is dead serious.
Yeah. These people, they sound legit.
But I really felt like this was good to talk about in this episode because we're talking about not letting anything stop you or prevent you from doing something.
Don't let Bigfoot stop you.
Or anyone else,
No.
right? Like, believe in yourself even when no one else does.
I love that. I love that. Oh, my goodness.
Whether it's you think you're going to not camp because something crazy happened, or if you're Sasquatch and people just don't believe you even though you've left plenty of clues around.
You guys, if you know Kristi, she totally lives by this because she's got even a shirt that says this.
It's true.
I mean, and she likes it. So
I love it. It's
she
like
loves it.
my second favorite new shirt of mine next to that Led Zeppelin one.
Right. Which reminds me, if you go on our website, you can look for Sassy the Sasquatch on our pages. So he's hiding just like he does in real life.
Yeah. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Befro.
He's out there.
He's out there.
Or maybe he's not.
Oh,
Depends on what you believe.
Right. Well, Unstoppable. So I like to look at national park news. I really like national parks. I'd love to go to more of them. One of my favorites is Yellowstone. And recently, last year in Yellowstone, a 2,000-pound bison attacked a woman.
Oh, I did not see that.
She's from Phoenix, and she was 47.
What was she doing to the bison?
So nobody can really say.
Of course.
But she claimed she was walking away from the bison, and all of a sudden it attacked her. Serious injuries. Haven't heard if she's okay, whatever. But it sounds like it was like baby season for bison, and so like a mama bison was just protecting her baby or herd or something like that.
Okay.
But they did say, hey, you got to stay 25 feet away from these things. If they are going to attack you, you want to keep constant eye contact with them.
Oh.
Which, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's like the last thing I'd want to do is look into the face of something that's about to like maul me.
Yeah, I can't say that would be my first reaction.
Yeah, it's like, oh, 2,000-pound bison. Come on, you want to have a steering contest?
Right. Next is an arm wrestle. Like, no, thank you.
Right. So, I mean, that definitely went wrong in the national park. And in 2019, a man got a little too close to that old faithful and fell into the thermal water. So, I mean, these are things that I don't know.
Do you ever feel like sometimes, though, if we just removed all the warning labels and let natural selection...
Yeah, and common sense take over.
Yeah.
They obviously don't have common sense.
No. Because I'm also never at a park like that, and I'm never going to come up to a large animal and be like, let me get closer.
Right.
Like, I remember one time I was at one of the state parks here. It was like the Natural Bridge. Mm-hmm. And there was javelina out in the field in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know what javelina are, they're like pigs with tusks, and
Yeah.
they smell bad. They smell like skunks, and they
They could be violent,
They can be.
Yeah.
And they travel in herds and packs, and like they're pretty...
aggressive.
Yeah. And so when I see one of those, I'm not like, oh, let me get closer to this.
Let me pet the fluffy little pig.
No, I'm like, I'm going to go the other direction
You're right.
without making eye contact. I'm going to pretend like I didn't notice they were there and hope that they do the same thing to me.
I mean, what do you do if you're blind? How do you make eye contact?
That's a good point.
A lot of things to think about. So Brian and I went to Yellowstone for our honeymoon. We love camping that much. We're like, we got married. Let's go
I love
camping.
that. That's amazing.
But our joke of the trip was, do you want horns in the neck? I mean, we called these, animals having horns because they'd kind of like try to headbutt you with these things if you got too close. And we'd see people taking pictures that were like 5-10 feet away, and we're just like joking, that guy's getting horns in the neck. And so I mean, that's kind of our thing right now. There is, you just can't get that close to wildlife and think everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, they're wild animals. Like, what part of wild
Right.
is not comprehensible?
I don't even want to get that close to my dog sometimes.
I mean, really, like if it's dinner time, you're not. It's not pet time,
Right. Let's have a staring contest.
Exactly.
I wonder if we did that though with people. Like, you see someone in the work hallway and you're like, okay, I don't want them to come after me, so I'm just going to stare them down.
Let's try it. Or just like
do it.
They ask you a confrontational question and you just stare at them. Like, say nothing, just don't break eye contact.
Challenge accepted.
Let's try that. If you have a story you'd like to share, maybe we could even feature it on another episode. If it's something you want to share with our listeners, or if it's something you just want to share with us and maybe remain anonymous, let us know. Email us at I'dRatherBeCamping@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss your next Campaholics meeting.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, Felicia.
Adios.
As that lady said, bye, son.
Bye. Bye, son. Since we were talking about Yellowstone today, we're going to go ahead and leave this episode with bye, son. Thanks, guys, for joining the meeting today for Campaholics. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast. And you can visit us on Instagram or our website at I'd Rather Be Camping with a K. We wanted to say K because Camp, K-A-M-P, is Kristi and Mandy's podcast.
That's right.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, Campaholics. Don't forget to subscribe or like us and join us on our website and Instagram. Bye. Have a good day. Thanks, guys, for joining us today at Campaholics podcast meeting. Don't forget to join us next week where we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, camping.
As always. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe so you can never miss another Campaholics meeting.
That's right. It's going to be intense.
Super intense. If you have stories you'd like to share or reasons why you'd rather be camping, please email us at I'dRatherBeCamping@gmail.com. And if you want us to share your story, which we would love to, if it's a great one, we want to share it on the episodes here, let us know. Or if you want to remain anonymous, we can change some facts about the story, like names and locations.
That's right. That's right.